Well, hello and welcome to this episode of the Terri Cole Show. My name is Terri Cole, if you don't know me, and I'm a licensed psychotherapist. I'm a relationship expert and the founder of Real Love Revolution and Boundary Bootcamp. And I'm so happy that you are joining me today. I've been taking the questions that you've been sending in and creating episodes about those questions. So someone wrote in and asked me how to deal with the overwhelm that she is experiencing right now. So that's what this whole episode is going to be about. I'm going to give you some strategies, some tips to be less overwhelmed in your life, because we all have a lot going on. We're all dealing with a brand new situation that we have never been in before in any of our lifetimes. So it can be overwhelming, and a lot of people who are writing me emails are saying that they already struggle with anxiety and overwhelm even before the world changed the way that it has. So, hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, and I know you are, and you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I would not want you to miss a thing. There's a little bell. Click on it. Hit subscribe. Okay, moving into the content. What are the things that make us feel overwhelmed? Excess thoughts in our minds that create feelings in our body. So when we break down what feeling overwhelmed is, it can be a paralyzing feeling because we have too much anxiety in our body. So there's lots of things that create anxiety and lots of things that tip us over into that place of overwhelm. So first thing is to accept that having anxiety, if you have it, is part of life, right? We all feel anxiety at different points. The more we fight the feeling, the more we try to run away from the feeling, the stronger the feeling seems to get. So realizing that having anxiety or feeling overwhelmed, it really is a part of being a human on planet Earth. Let's try not to make it pathological. Let's try not to think that, oh my God, there must be something wrong with me if I'm feeling this way, because that actually is not true. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you've got to identify what are the thoughts that you're having in your mind that are adding to the overwhelm. A lot of times when we're feeling overwhelmed, we have circular thinking. So we have the same thought, whether it's I'm never going to get it done in time, whether it's not going to be good enough, whether it's I'm not going to meet the right person, whether it's I'm never going to be physically fit. If we continue repeating thoughts that actually fuel our anxiety, that is a for sure way of staying in that sense of being overwhelmed. So this is episode 259. So I've created a little cheat sheet for you. You just have to go to terricole.com/259 and it'll be there, these steps that you can actually take. Identifying those triggering thoughts. And listen, we have 65 to 85,000 thoughts a day. And statistics tell us that I think 75% of them are the same. I mean, I know that's hard to believe, but that is what I read. Now listen, I'm not a social scientist. I'm just saying, think about it. The things that make you stressed out, they are the same so much of the time. You might be someone who is very worried about money, whether it's because you don't have enough money or whether it's because you do have enough money, but you have an injury around money. And so you have your blueprint around money is scarcity. And with clients I've had like that, no matter how much money you have in the bank, unless you figure out that where that scarcity experience got planted, it's really hard to feel like you have enough money. So whatever the thing is that you are sweating right now, you're going to go through the steps that I'm giving you, and I want you to come up with what are those triggering thoughts, because that is the first step to stopping them. We're going to replace those thoughts with something else, something slightly more soothing, something like, I'll get it done in the right time, right? I am divinely guided and protected. Things that actually can make you feel better in the moment, because so much of the time when we're feeling anxiety, our mind is going to the worst case scenario, and that flips us into overwhelm. The next step is you have to have some kind of a pattern interrupt. So in cognitive behavioral therapy, there's a very simple tip that I give people that's been out there forever. You just put a rubber band or a hair tie on your wrist, and when you start to have the overwhelming thoughts, you snap that, which will interrupt the thought that you're having, and then you replace it with a more calming, soothing affirmation that you're going to come up with. So that is an easy one, because when you think about the way we're wired as human beings, we want to avoid pain. So I don't expect you to snap it so hard that it really, really hurts, but it's enough that your brain starts to want to avoid that feeling. So cognitive behavioral therapy is very effective. There are other things that you can do for a pattern interrupt. It's like your mind is a train going super, super fast. So anything that you can do when you're in that circular mindset of stressful thoughts that are provoking anxiety and making you feel overwhelmed, anything you can do to interrupt it is helpful. In the past, with some of my therapy clients, it might sound weird, but plunging your hands into freezing cold water is a pattern interrupt. Leaving the space that you're in, going for a walk, is a pattern interrupt. Picking up your phone and calling a friend is a pattern interrupt. Grabbing your journal and deciding you're going to write it out, exactly what is in your mind, all the overwhelming thoughts. Put on a timer. You're going to write it out for 2 minutes. No editing, just plowing through. Right. That is a pattern interrupt. So there's a lot of different things that you can do on your own to interrupt the pattern and then get back to your day. One of the most profoundly helpful suggestions that I can make to you is about doing some breathing exercises or meditating daily. There are a zillion apps. I've got a ton of free meditations online. There's a great app that Deepak Chopra was a part of called the Breathe app. It's free on the Apple App Store. So breathing, I want you to visualize meditating or doing any kind of breathing exercise as a way of, you're basically putting space inside of you. So you know the way you put money in the bank? Think about doing that on a daily basis as a preventative way of creating more internal space so that it takes you longer to get to that sense of feeling overwhelmed. And in fact, you can get to the point where you don't get to being overwhelmed because you're handling it before you actually get there. So instead of putting money in the bank, you're putting space in the internal bank so that you have more to draw from, more time to think. We become less reactionary when we have more internal space. When I started a daily meditation practice 20 years ago, what I noticed the biggest change was that it bought me about 2 to 3 seconds of response time in my life, which may not sound like a lot. But in actual life, it completely changed my life from being very reactionary, getting annoyed very easily, getting angry easily, typing up like an angry email and hitting send before I can think about it. Those 2 to 3 seconds gave me a choice. So I think that if you really don't want to be overwhelmed, you got to be willing to do something different. So I hope that some of these suggestions spoke to you. I hope that they help you, because you really do have the power within you to calm the way that you're feeling all on your own. And nothing's wrong with you. We're all feeling anxious and overwhelmed at this moment in time. To download your little cheat sheet and the step-by-step guide that I made for you, just go to terricole.com/259. If you like this episode of The Terri Cole Show, please share it with your people, because I feel like we could all use a little less anxiety and a little bit more joy. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and as always, take care of you.